There is a distinct physical relief that comes from sinking into perfectly heated water at the end of a long, grueling day. Browse online, and you will find freestanding acrylic models marketed aggressively at entry-level prices, with some units listed for as little as 49,999 rupees, or about $600 US. At that price point, it feels like a simple retail purchase. But a hot tub is not a piece of furniture you simply plug in. It is a demanding, localized infrastructure project that requires its own dedicated electrical grid, structural support, and biochemical management. That initial retail price tag is effectively just the down payment on the physical environment you have to construct to keep the machine running. Look at the contrast between these two images. On the left, we see the polished marketing aesthetic of a seamless backyard oasis. On the right, the reality, a municipal blueprint requiring concrete pads, electrical conduit mapping, and strict property setbacks. To accurately budget for a spa, you have to account for the hidden capital required for installation and the hours of weekly labor required to maintain it safely. If you are installing an indoor system, your first option is an air pool. This design uses a blower to push warm air through small holes in the tub, providing a gentle skin massage with thousands of bubbles. Air pools introduce very little friction to your home. They are self-draining, and because they do not hold water in their internal lines, they hook up cleanly to standard residential plumbing. For deep tissue relief, a whirlpool relies on heavy internal water pumps to blast thick, high-pressure hydrojets directly into your muscles. However, filling a 90-gallon wellness tub with hot water will rapidly drain a standard residential water heater before the tub is even full. To sustain that temperature for a 30-minute soak, you usually have to purchase and wire a secondary inline bath heater or upgrade to a dedicated, high-capacity secondary water tank. And then there is the physical weight. 90 gallons of water combined with the acrylic shell and the bather approaches 1,000 pounds. Placing that load in a standard bathroom frequently requires hiring a structural engineer to design and install reinforced floor joists beneath the room. Upgrading to a motorized therapy unit means you are directly maxing out the structural and utility load limits of your house. Moving the project outdoors bypasses the floor joist issue, but placing a 6-person self-contained spa in your backyard triggers an entirely new cascade of municipal safety codes. This site plan illustrates the required legal blueprint, including strict property line setbacks, perimeter fence locations, and concrete pad dimensions. The layout must also account for invisible hazards, maintaining horizontal distance from buried cables and overhead electrical lines. The placement of the tub relative to your house also introduces severe risks if it sits too close to existing windows or sliding glass doors. This diagram shows the specific safety glazing requirement for any glass located near the water. The red shaded areas indicate that any glass within 60 inches of the water's edge must be replaced with tempered safety glass to prevent a slip and fall shatter hazard. From a legal perspective, your town treats an outdoor spa exactly like a permanent building addition. It carries the same structural liabilities and requires the same extensive permitting process. Once the physical location is approved, you have to power the unit. A modern spa runs 1.5 horsepower jet pumps, 700-watt blower motors, and high-draw internal heaters simultaneously. Delivering power requires physical excavation. Electrical codes dictate the PVC conduit carrying the wires must be buried at least 18 inches below the frost line. This schematic outlines the strict distancing codes for electricity. Light switches must be placed at least 5 feet away from the water, while your GFCI receptacle must sit in a precise zone between 6 and 10 feet from the tub. A GFCI is a fast-acting circuit breaker designed to shut off electric power to prevent water-related shocks. Looking back at the site map, specifically call-out number 5, you can see the required physical mapping for the electrical raceway. It must travel safely from the home's main panel to the hot tub pad, while avoiding all other buried utilities. By the time you pay for the trenching, the heavy-gauge copper wire, and a licensed electrician to connect the grid, the power delivery alone will often cost as much as the retail price of the hot tub itself. After the concrete sets and the power flows, you inherit the final ongoing cost, the relentless biochemical maintenance loop required to keep the water sanitary. If you neglect weekly water testing, the hot, stagnant environment will rapidly accumulate organic matter, resulting in aggressive algae blooms and thick surface scum. This poor water chemistry creates a mechanical cascade of failure. Failing to manually flush the filters leads to clogged intake lines, restricting water flow. The restricted flow trips the heater's high-limit thermostat, shutting down the entire spa. This internal safety switch cuts power to the heating element to prevent a fire hazard. If you do not commit to testing pH and alkalinity every single week, your luxury investment quickly becomes a foul-smelling liability. This chart maps the reality of buying a tub on an effort versus impact matrix. We start here, in the bottom left, with a standard indoor soaking tub. It requires minimal effort to install, but offers very low therapeutic impact. For buyers with strict budgets or limited space, an indoor air pool is the optimal choice. You gain the high impact of gentle hydrotherapy without the extreme effort of 220-volt electrical trenching. If you are time poor and buy an outdoor spa without committing to a maintenance plan, you land here: high effort, high cost, and zero usable impact, because the water becomes toxic. For the performance optimizer seeking deep tissue outdoor recovery, a code-compliant jacuzzi delivers the highest impact, but you must budget an additional 50 to 100% of the sticker price to cover the physical infrastructure. Ultimately, the quality of your relaxation depends entirely on your willingness to manually manage the water chemistry and pay the true cost of civic infrastructure. A hot tub is an incredible tool for physical recovery, but only after the complex ecosystem required to sustain it is fully funded and built.